Hi, I am Dr. Sai Prasad Reddy. Welcome to Software Testing Interview Questions and Multiple Choice Questions. Now, we are going to cover the concept validation and validation techniques. Now, see, so interview questions on the topic validation are: what is validation process? That means, what do you mean by the validation? What are different validation techniques? Who are responsible for validation process? At what stage in software development lifecycle validation process is implemented? And last one is, what are the advantages of validation? These are the probable interview questions on the concept validation. Now, we will cover all these questions in this topic. See, first, what do you mean by the validation? Or what do you mean by the validation process? It is nothing but it is a disciplined approach or a systematic approach or a systematic mechanism to evaluate whether the final software project or the product fulfills, satisfies its specific intended use. That is called validation. That is, after completion of this product or the software project, that is on the final software product, the respective team members will validate whether this final software project fulfills its specific intended use or not. That is called validation. Right? So, in shortcut, the validation can be understood: are we doing the right job or not? That is a shortcut definition. So this validation can also be defined in shortcut, in short way as, are we doing the right job? See, here in interview, many people, many persons, many job seekers, they will give the definition in shortcut. But you are not supposed to do that. That short definition is not enough in interview. So you should not use this short definition. So if they ask you in interview, so even though if you are using this short definition, but you have to explain all these things. Say, what do you mean by the validation? Validation is nothing but a systematic approach to evaluate whether the final software product fulfills its specific intended use or not. This can be explained in short way like, are we doing the right job or not? Right? So this is done by systematically testing a software project with the intention of finding the defects. So the main intention or the main goal of validation is to find the defects on the final software product. So validation is a technique. Validation is a process which will be implemented on the final software product in order to find the defects in the product or in the project. This validation is also called as dynamic testing because this validation process requires execution of the software. So the software has to be executed in order to evaluate the final software project. Right? So, whereas in the verification, the execution of the software project is not required. But whereas in the validation, the execution of the software is required. So that is the difference between verification and validation. So validation is a dynamic testing. Now, so what are the validation methods? So here, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. All these four levels of testings are the validation methods. That mean in software development life cycle, validation methods are implemented at unit testing stage, integration testing stage, system testing stage, user acceptance testing stage. All these testings are levels of testing. Unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing are called levels of testing, not types of testings, levels of testings. So in software development lifecycle, validation process is implemented in these four levels of testings. Right? So now see. So the validation examples, unit testing, it will be performed by the software development team. Integrated testing, it will be performed by the software developer. Sometimes the software test engineers also will involve. System testing, so totally performed by the software testing team. And the user acceptance testing by the users. Again, in the user acceptance testing, there is alpha testing is there and beta testing is there. That's a different concept, right? So, at these four levels of testing, the validation will be implemented. Next, what are the advantages of validation? The validation process will help you in identifying the presence of the defects in the software, final product of the software project. Right? So, this validation will identify the presence of defects in the final software project. And see, this final software project has to demonstrate, has to manifest what it is supposed to do, whether it is doing or not. What it is not supposed to do, it is not supposed to do it. That is very important. See, the necessary to demonstrate not just that the software is doing what it is supposed to do, but also is not doing what it is not supposed to do. This is very important. Just I will give a simple example for your better understanding. If you take the login functionality, according to the client requirement, so if the user enters a valid user ID and valid password, then the user should be allowed to log in successfully. That is what the system or what the software is supposed to do, it is doing. And if you enter invalid user ID, if the user enters invalid user ID or invalid password or any one of these invalid thing, then the system should not allow the user to log in. So that is, if that system is not allowing the user with the invalid credentials, that means if the login functionality is not working with invalid credentials, then what it is supposed to do, it is supposed to do. If it allows, then it is wrong. There is a defect. So finally, the software product is necessary to demonstrate not just that the software is doing what it is supposed to do, but also is not doing what it is not supposed to do. So this can be traced, this can be found during the validation process only. Right? And see, these are the multiple choice questions, very simple questions on the validation topic. These technical questions will be asked in the technical screening test, which will be conducted for 0 to 3 years of experienced people. Many software companies are conducting technical screening test. Now, functional testing is mostly validation technique, verification technique, both of the above, none of the above. Very simple. So functional testing, what do you mean by functional testing? What is the definition of the functional testing? Giving the inputs into the functionality and performing the operation on those inputs and then getting the output. That is execution. That is nothing but a functional testing. So execution, that functional testing is nothing but a validation technique. The next, validation requires execution of the software, non-execution of the software, both of the above, none of the above. So here, that option is execution of the software because validation itself is a execution of the software. Right? Yeah. Please subscribe my channel, share my videos to all the students who are searching for the job in the IT industry, and like my sessions, and please raise your comments in the comment box. Thank you.